Yeah, talking about this like innovative mindset, there was this mission clean to Antarctica. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh,
Because I found it so interesting, you know, it's like that's also mobility, right? But it's like, you
yes.
know, it has a
Yeah.
mission, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, was a very interesting mission. Let's go back. I think I got in contact via an acquaintance in 2016 or 17, Mr. Edwin de Velde. He um, he was an entrepreneur and he had some startup companies, but also he was working in a big corporate company. And at some point of time, he thought, I have to change my life. So he has quitted his job. He has sold all his companies, and he says, I want to work on sustainability. And he gave himself a challenge. He says, I want to prove something tangible. And
Mhm.
he said, I want to go with a recycled, with a vehicle which is basically made from recycled materials, and developing new technology to be able to survive 30 days on the Antarctic at the conditions there. So
Mhm.
using solar panel, so without using any CO2 there. So develop a car in which he can survive and drive to the geographical South Pole. That was his challenge, and he didn't know anything about making cars, what materials he needed. So, but that was his target, and actually I learned a lot from him at that time. You can perhaps we can on YouTube you can see all the movies of what's happening, and I partnered from Teijin with him because in 2018 Teijin became 100 years old. We got the challenge from our CEO at that time to do some experiments, just whatever you like to do for 100 year. So I thought I would like to partner with Edwin Tevelde and on the one hand see how we can contribute with our materials, but that's not enough because we should also be challenged. And what we did, we took responsibility for designing the tire concept because that's quite crucial because you need very low rolling resistance. You need to have the energy harvesting from the sun. You need to carry everything. So, and it has to last under minus 40 degrees
Extreme
and so
rigid.
on. And hard ice, soft ice, and so on. That was a really big challenge. And actually, with the R&D team, we designed a new tire concept for that. And the interesting thing was that we had to deliver without ever being on Antarctica because we didn't go there because otherwise we had to take the plane and so on. So from studying, from doing simulations, we tried to do that, and that was very a learning experience that you take responsibility for one car for one point. I said to Edwin actually, Tejan, you don't have or Edwin, you don't have to worry about your tires. It's our responsibility. Perhaps your mission will fail. I don't hope. And if it's then it could be due to us because we didn't do the right thing. So that was also taking responsibility. And actually, personally, I learned a lot. I mean, I've been in many management courses, but actually, that process was the best management course I had because you had successes, you had failures, there were crises in the team. Um, our first tire concept looked theoretically very nice, but we went to a glacier in Iceland to test it, but it completely failed. We did only drive 3 or 4 meters because that was the hard reality, and then we had to rethink. But the Edwin de Velde, as the mission leader, he was so persistent to reach that goal. He never gave up.
Mm. Yeah,
So
that's what you need, no?
that's a very good learning experience. And of course, we could use our materials and our knowledge in it. But more or less, it is about the experience of doing something new, stepping into the unknown, and also trying to really take responsibility for what you are doing. It's not that you, even also in your customer in the future, you should not leave him alone. If you make a commitment to your customer, you will deliver something. You should be pursuant to deliver that. And if you can create such a team that is persistent, you can do it. And actually, he did it. He survived together with his wife 30 days on Antarctica. You can see on YouTube how it went. Unfortunately, they did not reach the geographic South Pole, but that was because the climate situation with the storms was much more heavy in that year than normally expected. So they had to stop for many days and had to shelter because of the storms. But I would advise the listeners to the podcast to look at some of the YouTube videos. And I think that could also be, and yeah, that learned us a lot on how you can innovate in a new way. That's yeah.